The crunch of my tires stopping on my driveway was immediately followed by complete confusion. I had only been on a business trip to Chicago for 2 weeks, but half of my beautiful, meticulously maintained green front lawn was gone. In its place was a massive, freshly poured concrete driveway extension leading directly to my neighbor's house. I sat in my car for a full minute, the engine idling, my brain refusing to process the geometry of what I was looking at. This wasn't a subtle encroachment. This was a 12-foot wide, 40-foot long slab of blindingly white concrete that cut a brutal, diagonal swath straight across my property line. My prize-winning hydrangeas? Gone. The Japanese maple I planted with my late father? Chopped down and paved over. I could even see the jagged plastic remains of my underground sprinkler heads sticking out of the sides of the new cement like broken bones. And parked right smack in the middle of my former lawn was a brand new, oversized luxury SUV and a shiny red sports car. My shock instantly boiled over into pure, white-hot rage. I threw my car into park, slammed the door, and marched straight over to my neighbor's house. My neighbor, Karen, is a retired HOA board reject who spends her days policing everyone else's trash cans while her own house looks like a hoarding situation. I pounded on her front door so hard the decorative wreath rattled. The door swung open. Karen stood there in a silk bathrobe, holding a glass of white wine, looking completely unbothered. "Oh, hey OP. You're back early," she chirped, taking a sip of her wine. "Did you notice the upgrade?" "The upgrade?" I choked out, pointing a shaking finger at the sea of concrete. "Karen, what the hell is that? You paved over my lawn." "Keep your voice down, you're upsetting my dogs," she huffed, her fake smile dropping. "And I didn't pave over your lawn." I expanded my parking. My son just moved back home from college, and he brought his Mustang. Plus, I bought the new Escalade. We couldn't possibly fit 4 cars on my old driveway. "I don't care about your son's Mustang," I yelled. "You built a driveway on my property. You ripped out my trees. You destroyed my sprinkler system." Karen rolled her eyes dramatically. "Oh, please. You're single, you travel for work constantly, and you barely even use that side of the yard. It was just sitting there, wasting water. I did us both a favor." "A favor." I was practically vibrating with anger. "You stole my land." "I improved the neighborhood curb appeal," she snapped back, her tone turning venomous. "Do you have any idea how much money I just spent? That is premium, stamped concrete. The contractors had to level the dirt and everything. I paid $20,000 out of my own pocket, and I didn't even ask you to split the bill. You should be thanking me. It raises your property value." "It's illegal," I shouted. "You have zero right to touch my property without my permission." "It's an easement, or whatever they call it." She waved her hand dismissively, clearly having no idea what the word meant. "Besides, the concrete is already poured and cured. It's permanent. So I suggest you get over your little temper tantrum, go inside, and appreciate the free landscaping I did for you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a Zoom book club." She slammed the door in my face. The deadbolt clicked. I stood on her porch, staring at the heavy wood door. She thought because the concrete was dry, she had won. She thought a $20,000 investment made her immune to the law. I pulled out my phone. I didn't call the police. I called a property surveyor. I didn't sleep a wink that night. The next morning, I was standing in my ruined yard at 7 a.m., taking photos of the severed sprinkler lines and the stump of my father's Japanese maple. Karen stepped out onto her porch, wearing a plush robe and sipping from a large mug of coffee. She looked incredibly smug. "Morning, neighbor," she called out, leaning against her railing. "Taking pictures for your scrapbook." I lowered my phone. "I want the name of the contractor you hired, Karen. Right now." She took a slow, theatrical sip of her coffee. "Oh, relax. You were gone for weeks, and I needed more parking space for my guests and my son. It's just a little bit of grass. OP, don't be so dramatic." "It's not just grass," I said, my voice dangerously quiet. "It's my property." "Is it?" she challenged, raising an eyebrow. "Because the fence line is crooked anyway. Look, I did the neighborhood a favor. And honestly, the concrete is already set. It's dry. So there's nothing you can do about it now."
You can't impossible.
"Just park your little sedan in your garage and let my son use the new slab. It's a win-win." She turned and went back inside, leaving me staring at a $20,000 monument to her entitlement. She thought the permanence of concrete was a shield. She thought because it was hard, it was law. I didn't knock on her door again. I didn't yell. Instead, I went back into my house and paid a $500 premium to expedite a licensed professional land surveyor to come out the very next day. I wanted this done by the book, quietly, before I dropped the hammer. The survey crew arrived Tuesday morning while Karen was out at her country club. There were 3 of them, armed with GPS rovers, total stations, and cans of neon pink spray paint. They found the original iron pins buried at the corners of my lot, set by the city decades ago. I watched from my kitchen window as the lead surveyor walked the property line. He stopped right at the edge of the new, blindingly white concrete driveway. Then, he kept walking. He walked over the concrete. He walked past the parked Mustang. He didn't stop until he was a full 12 feet past the new driveway, practically touching Karen's meticulously manicured rose bushes. He pulled out a can of neon pink paint and sprayed a massive, undeniable line straight across the expensive stamped concrete, connecting the invisible boundary between our homes. When they finished, my front yard looked like a crime scene marked with pink ribbons and wooden stakes. The lead surveyor knocked on my door and handed me the official stamped document. "I've been doing this for 20 years, he said, shaking his head. "I've seen fences a foot over the line. I've seen sheds built on the boundary. But I have never seen someone pave an entire 40-foot slab of concrete completely on their neighbor's land. It's 100% on my property." I asked, looking at the map. "Every square inch of it," he confirmed. "She didn't just cross the line. She built parallel to it, entirely on your parcel, probably so she wouldn't have to dig up her own garden beds. That driveway is legally yours." I looked out the window at the pink line cutting across the $20,000 concrete slab. I felt a cold, hard smile spread across my face. She was right about one thing. The concrete was set. But she was dead wrong about there being nothing I could do about it. I didn't send a cease and desist letter. I didn't hire a lawyer to politely ask her to remove it. As Karen herself had so smugly pointed out, the concrete was set. But since the survey proved it was 100% on my land, it wasn't her driveway anymore. It was my concrete. And I didn't like my new concrete. I hired a commercial demolition crew. I paid them a premium for an early start time. At 7 a.m. sharp on a Thursday morning, the heavy diesel rumble of a bobcat excavator and a flatbed truck shook my windows. A crew of 3 men in hard hats unloaded 2 heavy-duty pneumatic jackhammers. I walked out with a mug of coffee, handed the foreman the official survey map, and pointed to the blindingly white slab. "Tear it all up," I said. "Stop exactly at the pink line." The foreman grinned. He gave the signal. The deafening, violent roar of the jackhammers biting into the premium stamped concrete shattered the quiet suburban morning. The bobcat rolled forward, dropping its steel bucket and ripping up massive, jagged chunks of the $20,000 driveway. Dust billowed into the air. It took exactly 3 minutes for Karen's front door to fly open. She ran out onto her porch in her silk robe, her hair a mess, screaming at the top of her lungs. "Stop! What are you doing? Stop them right now. That cost $20,000. I took a sip of my coffee and smiled. "I'm landscaping, Karen." I decided I didn't like the upgrade. She practically sprinted back inside and called 911. 10 minutes later, 2 police cruisers came screaming up the street with their lights flashing. The demolition crew cut the engines. Karen ran out to the officers, playing the ultimate victim. "Arrest him," she shrieked, pointing a shaking finger at me. "He hired thugs to destroy my property. Look at my driveway. He's a vandal." The older officer held up a hand to quiet her and walked over to me. "Sir, what exactly is going on here?" I didn't say a word. I just pulled the official, sealed surveyor's report from my jacket pocket and handed it to him. I pointed to the neon pink line painted on the ground, a full 12 feet past the edge of the rubble. The officer looked at the map. He looked at the pink line. He looked at Karen. The officer sighed, handing the paper back to me. "According to this legal survey, this concrete is entirely on his parcel. He isn't destroying your driveway. He is demolishing his own concrete." "But I paid for it." Karen screamed, her face turning a dangerous shade of purple. "Then you should have paid a surveyor first," the officer said flatly. "It's a civil matter. Now, I suggest you move that Mustang and your SUV, because right now they are trespassing on his property, and he has every right to tow them at your expense." Karen scrambled to move the cars while the bobcat fired back up, dropping another load of her expensive concrete into a dump truck. The lawsuit. She actually had the sheer audacity to sue me. She filed a lawsuit in civil court for the $20,000 she spent on the concrete, plus damages for emotional distress. The judge took one look at the land survey, heard the fact that she did it while I was out of town, and laughed her lawyer out of the courtroom. Her case was dismissed with prejudice. I, however, countersued. I sued her for the $4,500 demolition and debris removal fee, $2,000 to fix the shattered sprinkler system, $1,500 to resaw the lawn, and $3,500 to replace my late father's mature Japanese maple. I won every single penny. Today, my grass is green again. The new maple tree is thriving. And right on that neon pink property line sits a brand new, 6-foot tall, solid privacy fence. I never have to look at Karen or her cars ever again.